Article 6, paragraph 2 of the Constitution is a supremacy clause. It says that any law that is in conflict with the Constitution cannot withstand. And unconstitutional laws criminalize the gamecock industry, the harvest of gamecocks by the traditional, sporting, and commercial method of harvest are unconstitutional. And any law that is in conflict with that is unconstitutional is invalid and illegal. The enforcement of an illegal law is an illegal violation of your rights by the government. You need to realize that, and you need to recognize that because these laws are unconstitutional, as I've explained them today, cockfighting cannot be a crime. And the laws that we're running from are actually just an invalid violation of our human rights.
Asked and answered, and again, I encourage you to choose to go down that path. The answer is simple: stand. Don't run. Stand. Are we doing finishing our any finish update? When do we wind up?
How do I do this?
You're the narrator.
It's up to you.
Give it about three more constitutional debate questions here. And we'll
What did she say? She thought the Constitution was bullshit? Is that what she just said?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like him. There's no difference.
No,
Okay, I'm good. I gotta go pee. We're gonna take a break?
In about 5 minutes to 10 minutes we'll be over. Okay. I'm gonna read something here to you. A law repugnant to the Constitution is void. An act of Congress repugnant to the Constitution cannot become a law. The Constitution supersedes all other laws, and the individual's rights will be liberally enforced in favor of him, the individual. The clearly intended and expressly designated beneficiary. You are that beneficiary. This is a quote from the United States Supreme Court in the case of Marbury versus Madison in 1803. Back when our founding fathers, the guys that wrote the Constitution, actually understood the Constitution. No one is bound to obey an unconstitutional law, and no courts are bound to enforce it. The general rule is that an unconstitutional statute, whether federal or state, though having the form and name of law, is in reality no law, but is wholly void and ineffective for any purpose, since unconstitutionality dates from the time of its enactment, and not merely from the date of the decision so branding it unconstitutional. An unconstitutional law in legal contemplation is as inoperative as if it had never been passed. That's taken out of the American Jurisprudence Manual, section 256. An unconstitutional law is void and is no law. And an offense created by it is not a crime. A conviction under it is not merely erroneous, but is illegal and void and cannot be used as a legal cause of imprisonment. That's ex parte in Cybo in 100 U.S. 371, written in 1879. Again, back whenever our judges had a better understanding of the Constitution. An unconstitutional law, an unconstitutional act is not law. It confers no rights. It imposes no duties, affords no protection. It creates no office. It is in legal contemplation as inoperative as though it had never been passed. United States Supreme Court decision in Norton versus versus Shelby County in 1886. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. United States Supreme Court, Miranda versus Arizona, 1966. How many of you have heard of your Miranda rights that you have to be read? Okay, if those rights apply today, you have to be Mirandized. Understand, this is the Constitution. This is what the courts are telling us. These are our rights.
United States of America versus Hector Cruz, United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Quotes from the decision. He, Cruz, argues that the statute under which he is charged infringes the, quote, God-given rights of New York's Gamecock farmers, unquote, and that its enforcement violates the, quote, 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 14th Amendments. Does that sound familiar? Cruz repeatedly asserts in an apparent biblical reference that God gave man dominion, control, and rule over the earth, animals, fish, and fowl, and our Constitution is written to ensure that each person is equal in the freedom and exercise of our God-given rights as each individual chooses to believe these rights exist. It's important. This argument has no merit. None of Cruz's other constitutional arguments establish that the U.S. Constitution provides Gamecock farmers, or anyone else for that matter, a right to attend or participate in animal fighting displays. They don't say cockfighting, they say any animal fighting displays. Cruz's arguments include his claims that American Gamecock farmers and ranchers are a population subgroup deserving of minority status based on our cultural tradition and heritage. We, in the court, are unaware of a single case or doctrine that would suggest the statute he challenges violates the Constitution. The defendant argues the government is unconstitutionally encroaching upon his First Amendment religious beliefs, blah, blah, blah. The court finds that the federal statute at issue does not unconstitutionally encroach upon his First Amendment rights. Again, people asked and answered.
What he doesn't know is I helped Hector. Okay? Yeah, Hector went to court. He filed these documents, motions to dismiss that I helped him with and things. Then Hector went down, and some of you may know Hector online, Hector Cruz. He's the one that was involved with Tommy up in New York. Once he went to court, though, and filed the motions and filed the information, then he went and pled guilty. He pled guilty, okay? And then once he had pled guilty, the very next day he went down and tried to withdraw his plea agreement. The motions that I wrote were actually forwarded by the federal judge, were forwarded to the United States Department of Justice under Eric Holder. And the response that came back from the United States Department of Justice was, Mr. Cruz has pled guilty. Do not attempt to answer the arguments in the motion to dismiss. Now this is they're telling the judge, do not attempt to answer the arguments made in the motion to dismiss. Simply deny Mr. Cruz the right to withdraw his appeal or withdraw his plea agreement and sentence him. And that's what happened. They would not, the judge would not deny his motion to withdraw his plea agreement, found him guilty, and made it and sentenced him according to the plea agreement. So all that is bull. Okay?
I know Hector, that's what he says. You know, as I was reading this, and I'm looking at him, you think I don't know that you know Hector? You think that he came up with this just all on his own? That's what you think I did? Come on. Come on. He says they were told to simply deny. They didn't simply deny. I'm not reading this out of a cloud somewhere. They didn't simply deny. They took a stand. I mean, you can find this stuff for yourself. I'll supply it for you. They didn't just deny it.
Oh yeah, they did.
When are you trying to bamboozle your own people? That's not right.
Now, those of you that know Hector, get him on Facebook or some messaging, talk to him, call him. I got his phone number, you can call and ask him for yourself, okay? What's going on today is a violation of our human rights. It's a violation of the Constitution. And it's all based upon the emotions of Mr. Hindi and other groups like him that actually want to force communism on the people of the United States. That's what's really going on. And I encourage all of you, as soon as this debate is over, then I'm going to start into a briefing, and I'm going to go through a slide presentation that explains exactly where all of these animal rights laws come from, who's behind them, and how they're all tied to the UN Agenda 21 and the Green New Deal. Okay? Anyone have any? Do you have anything?
And don't forget to buy his book.
Anyone have any? I appreciate everybody coming. Please stick around. We're going to take about a 15-minute break. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to get everything set up and start to the presentation. Thank you.